I wanted to let you know about an area that I want to focus on with folks who are really deciding to try to date and get into relationships. And we talked about this in my group the other day, and there's a four places to start investigating if you're dating someone, whether this is a relationship that continue to go forward. And the 4 points of this are, do you have the same goals? And I'm talking about short term goals, daily goals. Do you live the same lifestyle? Do you do the same kind of things? Is there a compatibility there? The second is, do you have future goals that are similar? Are you wanting the same things in your life? Do you have finances that are sort of similar? Are you having activities that you overlap in? Do you spend time sort of in similar ways? Have friendships that work? Like, are you able to hang out with each other's friends? And are you able to coordinate kind of family relationships? And this might come a little bit later after like the 4 to 6 month mark, but more of a collaboration of, do the lifestyles meet? And then, is there respect on both sides? And respect can look different for different people, but there's also values in respect. Like, do you value the way the other person lives their life? Are they on time? Do they do self care? Do they eat well? Do they eat like you? Do they have sort of basic habits that really work for you? Do you respect how they are living their life, what they do for a living, how they manage their money? So, respect is actually found out, but basic respect of, I'm basically respecting and being respectful of this person, is one layer. But the other layer is there enough similarity in the lifestyles of the person that you're dating that you're like, yeah, I can totally handle how this person lives, and I feel a basic respect for how they approach their life. So this is really important. Sometimes respect, we need to look at our own view of how we were raised, and sometimes the way we were attached to other people, because the attachment style difference might also kind of point to, it's not really anything that's being done personally, it's more of a lifestyle that was learned from this person. And sometimes it's so intriguing that we see people who live really, really differently, and we've never seen that before. And we're actually kind of amazed and amused by it. But if we start finding that it's annoying, it's not being done to us on purpose, it's a difference, and the difference needs to be talked about and also negotiated. So it's something to think about. The other piece is conflict resolution. Is your conflict of resolution style similar? Because as you're going on in further in the relationship, you're going to have to work stuff out in every single chapter of the relationship if you continue it. So, is the conflict style similar? So, there's 5 conflict resolution styles. So, listen and see if you can relate to this. So, there is the first style is avoidant, where someone actually, there's a problem and the person does not want to approach it. They just want it to go away. They want to act like it never happened. And sometimes they do this by just withdrawing or stonewalling. And stonewalling means they won't go into discussion with you about it. This is going to be very difficult to solve problems with this kind of personality. Unless you're this personality, then you need to really look at maybe working on that part of yourself. You can change your conflict resolution style, but you really have to work at it, understand where it comes from, and understand a different and healthier way to communicate, and also the feelings behind you not wanting to communicate. So that's the avoidance style. The second is accommodating. So a lot of times people are accommodating because they don't like conflict. They just really don't want to be in a conflictual situation with someone. So they hide their feelings and opinions about a situation and they accommodate. And it's not a healthy way to approach conflict or to find resolution, because usually underneath it, when we accommodate, we also are resentful. And resentment can come out as passive aggressive behavior. We don't say what we want, but we act out when we don't get what we want. And here's a situation. So someone calls and says, hey, I'm going to be really late. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm not going to be there to hang out with you this evening, or even to before you go to sleep. And so the person who's home would like shut off all the lights in the house, including the porch light, which gives that person the indication that they're really not okay that they stayed out late. So instead of discussing it and talking about their feelings and finding another way to deal with those, they just accommodate and say, yeah, that's fine, do whatever you want, but they're actually really pissed. So that's not a conflict resolution style. And that's another growth place to be in, if that's you or if that's the person that you're partnering with. The next place is that you would go into more of a holding your ground. And holding your ground actually breeds competition. And it might be like, I'm not doing this, absolutely not doing this. And there's no way you can talk me into it. But it might be something that this other person that you're with really wants or really values. So it's important to be able to suss out why this stance, and can there be another way of communicating about why this difference is appearing? And sometimes these things can be worked through. A lot of times people have different personalities, they're introvert, extroverts, and they might not want to have as much social time and spontaneity if you're an introvert. And that might need to be negotiated. Like, I just can't let people just come into my house if they knock on my door. I need to have notice. And the extrovert might say, I'm just game for like hanging out with people anytime. So the negotiation of boundaries, or the collaborating on how you're going to live with this difference, is the next place to go. Okay, so that one, taking a stand, can breed competition and whose need is more important. So it's not really a great conflict resolution style. Negotiation is the next one. Compromise is the fourth style. So compromise is a good way to deal with it, but sometimes there's this thing that happens. So compromise means that each party has to give something to make something work. And usually you don't get exactly what you want. So you have to adjust to the other person's need or request, and they have to adjust to yours. And the picture might look really, really different. So it might be like, a simple one would be like, I only like to go out to eat twice a week, and the other person likes to go out to eat much more often. So there would be a negotiation, like maybe they could go out to eat with other people if you don't want to go. Maybe you'd be willing to go a few times. And maybe the choice of restaurants would be considered. And that's how you would negotiate. So both parties aren't really getting exactly what they want, but there would be, where can we come together and make a decision? The problem with negotiation is sometimes in compromise, it comes up as like a threat. Like, if you don't do this, I won't do that. So that's where it kind of goes off the rails. So you have to watch that the negotiation is really letting go of what the way is that you want to do things, and to really see the other person needs you to give a little bit, and you're willing to do that to come together. And the healthiest conflict resolution style is collaboration, where there's a lot of discussion about the difference and there's some compromise, but it's a very equal compromise that is done based on the understanding of the difference and the letting go of some of the things that were once important to you, because they're replaced with, it's actually really much better to be with you or to be peaceful with you than to have the thing that I want. So when you are in relationship at any point, conflict resolution style is super important to develop and to keep working in your long-term relationship, and to keep communicating about. And to remember that these as guideposts, like whether you're dating or whether you're in a long-term relationship, that you're going to need to keep reevaluating the relationship together so that you can find ways of growing yourself individually and the relationship. So I hope that was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm just trying to give you some guidance about the ways that I work.